Hi there, it's Gerard. Hi there. No, can't help you, and I'm tied up now on some other things, so I'm going to say good night, goodbye. Take care. Okay, let's do some. Yeah, how do I get this not to do that? Gosh, the whole time. Okay, take care of that. Okay, I'm going to need that. So here. I'm going to cover for someone. No, I shouldn't cover for someone today.
Oh, nice, huh?
It's fine. It's in Swansea. Let's go there. Hi there, just responding to last minute folks. Link and post, right? Copy that. Okay, I mean, just too many folks. All right. Just gonna have to... Good morning, everyone. Bob, how are you? Hoping my mic's on. Doing a little social media posting. As we should, right? Let's talk new construction. I have 2 more minutes to do it. There. Okay. Am I muted? Good morning. Is everyone muted? Is that me?
Good morning. You're not muted.
Good morning. Yeah, I can hear you.
All righty.
Good morning.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I am glad to see a number of new folks, and I am grateful that Coldwell Banker has put our network on the calendar, so we're able to offer it up to agents in a number of offices, which has been fun, gratifying for me. And if anyone wants to get the written in the notes and some of that, send me your email, because with this new way to access just through our teams, I don't necessarily get the email like I would if you joined on Yammer or the Viva, is how I get a lot of folks, and I get their email and then add them to the list. But I only send out 1 or 2 emails a month, so it tells you what topic is coming up, and it has all of the notes from the previous 12, or I guess we're probably on month 14, so something like that. All right, let's talk. Let's kick it off. I'd like to just spend 30 minutes and give you some actionable advice that you can use during the week as a door opener or a conversation piece with one of your clients or customers. Right? I want to try to have everyone get a benefit. So the Beige Book is a Federal Reserve publication that reports on the 12 Federal Reserve districts, the economic activity. And a couple of months ago, or maybe in the beginning of the year, we created our CB Blue Book, which would just, for fun, market that to us as a group. But then when it comes out, we would just review it. So it came out in March, and incidentally, for fun, it comes out 7 times a year. And yeah, I'm trying to do this, figuring like, how many months is that? Is it every 3 months? But what it is the Fed meets 7 times a year. And this report is produced either before or after the meeting. I'm not certain on that, perhaps before, so they have information. So anyhow, I'm going to just briefly go over it with everybody. And I'll also try to compare any differences that I noticed from the last time we ran through this. And this will be our national real estate topic. So we usually do a national topic and then a new construction sales topic, which is preview lists. Okay, so overall activity. There again, 12 districts, 6 of them, little or no change. Maybe the other half showed slightly expanded growth. Supply chain continue to ease, so any worries on that. Inventory levels have been a difficulty for business because they ramped all this stuff up for COVID or after COVID, and they were left with a glut of it. That's why retail is doing poorly in general. So when they say that the inventories ease, they mean it's better for retailers because they have less junk to get rid of. And said, interesting, while the housing market remains subdued, was their laying, and restrained by exceptionally low inventory, and a little bit beyond the seasonal declines in normalities that they would see. So they're seeing a little bit of subdued activity. And then in general, where the activity was a little stronger in the country as opposed to another part of the country, the Eastern Seaboard was stronger in this round. And I will point out a difference. The last report, the Eastern was not the strongest. It was definitely still with the Midwest and that, although still balanced. I mean, nothing was really out of whack in either direction. Loan demand has declining, credit standards tightening, and this is again, of course, all of the districts. Delinquency rates are edging up, and energy is flat, which is great because energy is a big component of inflation. So that's a good thing. Then in a general way, let me just look at what changed this. Let me look at my notes. Yes. So one wording, you know how they love to have things hang on wording. So one wording that I noticed throughout was from, say, strong to fairly strong. So whatever that means. But the wage growth, this is an interesting point and maybe a conversation piece for a customer, is that however, while wages have generally over the last several months been going down a bit, and that's good news for the Fed. The Fed wants to see wages and home prices to go down in order for them to really do the easing. That is the consensus. But while those wage prices were going down, which is good, in March, they went up. And this is fun. They went up on the lower end of the wage earners. So we're a consumption economy. So those lower end wage earners are going to spend that money right away, which is going to do what? Bump up economic activity and probably keep higher for longer, which might not be a bad thing. As it goes, it hasn't been terrible so far. So then, if we were to look at again the trend, one thing, the East Coast was a little stronger, and when they looked at those wage numbers, same thing, they were stronger in the East, and in the middle of the country, things are definitely softer. The Chicago area, St. Louis, Kansas City was all on the moderately slower, and travel in general, moderate to moderately slower, except for the southern districts, which were like Richmond and Atlanta. We're still reporting growing travel. So the service part of our economy is still moving along very well. Travel, airfare, all that stuff, and that's what's keeping prices and inflation kind of sticky, I think. But nonetheless, so any comments on that, or anything you want me to expand on? Okay. Is anyone in any of these federal districts? Let me just throw them out at everyone just so we know. Boston, New York, Philadelphia, Cleveland, Richmond, Atlanta, Chicago, St. Louis, Minneapolis, Kansas City, Dallas, and San Francisco. Yay, somebody. Alex, where are we from?
I'm in New York City.
New York City. And Rose. Atlanta, great. What's how's the market there for new construction?
It's getting a little soft. I'm seeing the new builders offering incentives to agents and things like that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so hey, you know what? That makes it, it gives you something to talk to your clients about, right? Hey, we got good incentives coming from these builders. And on our topic, I love to just interject in a way. This is the difference between new construction and resale. So a way of talking about our next topic is to build pre-sale lists and things. This is an advantage of new construction because builders can pull more levers than homeowners can, meaning they can cut prices differently. They can throw a ton of money at your loan. They can do all these things because they know it makes you buy. Homeowners do know, as realtors here, that, while intellectually they might know that, when they start throwing money at the buyer, that's really what it becomes. I'm just throwing money at the buyer. So it's very different. So it's an advantage for us. Is there any other geography there? Okay, well, that's something there. Okay, so let's talk about. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, Jerry, I put my comments in there, but I was surprised to hear about Chicago, because I heard companies like Kayhoff, Pulte, Toll, were like expanding out Midwest, West and Midwest, but I'm surprised. I guess costs, I guess, involved, or.
Yeah, specifically Chicago said economic activity increased, employment increase was moderate, construction and real estate activities decreased modestly. Prices and wages rose modestly. So, we just say that it's probably I believe there's another way to say we have no inventory. And I think buyers, the prices are high and the interest rates are high. So the buyers just can't kind of pull the trigger on anything. And I think that's easing a little bit, or at least it's easing in our market. We're seeing more product come on the market, not a ton, but at least where you can have stuff sit on the market for 3 weeks, and that seems to be motivating buyers. So anyhow, okay, so let's talk about new construction sales. I'm going to try to create the anatomy of a pre-sale list or a preview list, depending on how your client prefers to hear that. They might think pre-sales is when I give them away early. So just keeping in mind, we toggle those words depending on where we are in the cycle of the project and things like that. But so pre-sale preview lists I am going to present hopefully a avenue for 2 or 3 different ways. So if that'll apply to different agents. So the 3 different ways that I'm going to be targeting would be, let's just say you're an agent here that has a new project and it is in its infancy. And maybe, as we discussed how to get deals, for sure, you find the land and it's yours to lose. You got to do a good job at marketing and getting it. But so let's assume you got the land for them and you're getting these listings and it's early and you can market it any way you want, essentially, because you have a lot of time because they're going to build this place. So you got 12 months. That might not be everyone here. We're working towards that. So let's just say you want to get leads in general. You'd love them to be new construction, but lead generation is what you're a realtor. And I'm practicing some of this right now because in my 24-month for new construction sales, there's a big chunk of it that generates leads in different ways. And I can point developers to those ways that are visible through marketing. They're like, oh, I saw your workshops. Oh, I saw you do an event at that bar. I saw you do that. So I create these things for the purpose of showing developers, but it also has benefits like bring buyers. So anyway, you can do that if you're just looking for buyer leads, any old buyer leads. And then if you're looking for specifically new construction buyers, because you're really serious and you want to get into the first category as quickly as you can, meaning listing for developers. But one great way is, let's just start selling new construction when you're on their job sites. You bump into them with your buyers and, that things can happen. So if we look at this, the first thing I like to do is create a rollout plan, which is going to put just simply down on a piece of paper the steps and sort of the life cycle of your project. And it is going to be something like you're going to try to create some pent up demand for this project out of these condos or these single families or whatever you have coming. I'm going to use the word condo a lot, but throw single family in there. So you have this coming, you want to get pent up demand, where there's a lot of units. How do you create urgency? And this, you want to be thinking about all those things. things. When you sell new product, there's a life cycle to the building, typically 12, 18 months. If it's 12 to 24 month project, I mean, it really is by the time you sell the basement out and everything, where all the profit is for the builder, by the way. There's a life cycle to it, meaning some people buy pre-sales, other people walk in and say, I'm not buying pre-sale because I don't believe in this, that, and the other thing. I'll wait. And then other people are more comfortable waiting. Then the developer gets motivated at certain times. Pre-sales are also for the bank. So you have to have a certain number under contract, generally 51%, before Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and FHA, are going to lend and close on those loans. So you have to have 51% of those units under contract and waiting for them. So when you get to about 49%, guess who's more anxious to sell than buy? The developer wants that last contract. That's another opportunity to know it's coming, because it will come, because that's part of a life cycle, to gear your rollout plan to accommodate marketing around these things. Some might be blatant marketing. This might be more subtle, where you're saying we're really desperate for this one reason, and tomorrow, once we get it, that reason goes away. Here's something to shoot at. So anyway, that's part, so you're thinking like that, about how am I going to have 15 things that I can talk about and try to build pre-sale lists, and knowing that I got to create urgency with these people too, and have it not just be a ton of people that that come. So how I've done it successfully in the past is, signage is fantastic. You cannot beat signage. So, and if you're in category A and you have the site, splurge on the construction banners and absolutely wrap the site with stuff that looks like this. High impact. Or I'm going to go sideways on this. Something eye-catching here. I posted some other stuff. And you're driving the people to a website landing page to still collect old-fashioned emails. Yes, they still work. And in fact, I think they're coming back a little bit. But you want to be driving to a landing page that we all know to talk about. But, landing page is fun to say, but then it's really to have some fun stuff when they get there. So how we create this urgency is we are going to, through the visuals, through signage, through your Instagram posts, through regular posting. I mean, every day, every other day, you're posting about your new construction project. Or let me just go in now. If you're looking for buyers, you create your own, let's call it new construction project. It's not new construction. It's going to be home buying workshops. I just did this in Rhode Island. So your focus is going to be, you have these consistently held events. So once a week, you're going to do these, and you're going to talk about that at every, twice a week in different ways, that you have these educational type courses. Then if you are in a third category where you really want new construction leads, you go back to our month 1 and 2 and go to your inventory, because one of the first things we do is drive around, because new construction is not listed in the MLS as resale is, or as much as resale is. So you go and you find these projects that are under construction, and you get as much information as you can. And then you create marketing around new construction products. So if you're looking for hip new condos, register here. You're talking general, and you create your marketing around this general sense of, I am in the know, and you can use that phrasing, in the know about hip new condos. And you start to use, let's just use this phrasing, hip new condos, and a home buying workshop for this person. And then over the person with the new construction project, you have the name of the project, or at least, some direction based on what you're going to be selling. So those three things you can create that right now. And I, in Rhode Island here, did home buying workshops. Everyone thinks that that's going to be for the little home buyer who, comes in and doesn't know anything. True. But I learned that I'm not doing these workshops just for the buyer. Remember, I was going to do them to point the seller to how I generate leads, the developer. But I know that sure, first-time buyers come in here, but I did these workshops consistently every week in my other marketplace for 5, 6, 7 years. And what starts to happen is different people come in. They think you can do one thing, but they think you can use down payment assistance, but they have $3 million in the bank. And that's exactly what happened to me in the third week. Some guy walked up to the sign and says, "Oh yeah, I've never owned a home. 60 years old." And I said, "Oh, great, come on in." I figured he didn't have any money. Well, when he filled out his information sheet, he did. He doesn't qualify for that, but I wrote an offer with him on $1 million place last night. He came in second. But nonetheless, that's coming from home buying workshops. But I do them every week now. And whether it's not to bring people necessarily in the door, it's to get people's email. It's all about who didn't come, who said I was going to come but didn't. So it's a method of collecting emails. So maybe back to the very beginning, the signage is pointing you to the landing page. We're trying to collect emails through these methods. If you were to use be person number 3, you would create this thing. I would suggest I do events around new construction. So if you similar to think, does anybody know anything about what are those called? The group. Gosh, I just lost it. Trish, what's the group? What's the group that people will get together and they talk about a particular topic and they do it every month and they're a little quirky. I got to go to my social media. Meetups. Excuse me. Anybody know about meetups? No? No one uses them for real estate? Oh, okay. Well, there's one. Meetups are a perfect way to do a fourth thing. You have to be a good meetup person. Meetups are a little quirky, so you have to be the type of person that kind of likes to do that. But nonetheless, you can do meetups are essentially where the same people come each month and learn new things, and maybe they bring someone new. But nonetheless, you're trying to do events. So I will be doing this in Rhode Island after I get my home buying workshop is going quite well. Then I'll start to do my home buying workshop at a hot location in an area. Bob, are you on the call still? Better be. That we are targeting new condos in an area in Rhode Island. So I will pick a bar restaurant there and say I'm having an event for hip new condos there. So that was that middle group, the second group. Hip new condos, come and register as if I'm doing a grand opening for a building. But I'm not. I'm just doing this and trying to pull some people over. You got to give free food. You got to give, some drinks. And that's the one that you really maybe don't want no one to come. You don't mind if no one comes to your home buying workshop because you're trying to get their email all week. And that's really what you're doing. And that's how I've been most successful, is not worrying if someone walks through the door. It's like, hey, 3 people gave me their email. They might not show. I'm going to get them on Monday morning and maybe do a phone, thing. So doing that, same thing on these. But when you do it at the restaurant, you are going to want to figure out a way. And this is part of new sales. You got to have a posse that comes to your events because you're fun. I would get this, fragrance events in DC, fragrance giveaways. You know who I was looking to come? The press. Because I'm figuring they know about my Thursday evening wine and cheese that we did every single Thursday for open houses, every Thursday. And then every once in a while I do different events. And then one will be fragrance events. We give away samples and we raffle away full bottles. And you're just bringing people into somebody's house, and hopefully one buyer is there that you've invited, and there's all these other people, and maybe you've created urgency when there was none. That was part of the beginning part. So that's, a way that I would do that in DC. So the fragrance worked well, and the press did come. They're like, what the heck are you doing here? You're giving away fragrances. So nonetheless, the idea of that, but at that one, you're going to want to bring people if you can. And then when people come there, visual is huge. So you would have easels, stand-up easels with pictures from the street of new construction projects that are happening. You're certainly able to do this. You're giving an informative lecture. You can find out, lecture, presentation, or what have you, what's going on just through public record. And you can say, look, they're going to have new condos. There's going to be 21 units. We're not sure if it's this or that. Apartments are going to be condo, and move around and just show people what's happening. Or if you have the project, you're starting to show at these events some floor plans. And I would literally get easels, big easels, and 3 by whatever foot, big things that look bright like that with a big floor plan and something like that. And again, looking to just create a list. This is all about email lists. You're not trying to sell these things yet. You're really trying to just build the list very early. Any questions? Anything making sense? Oh, come on. Okay. So ways to keep interest would be, you want to, again, if you're posting every week, you need ideas. So let's take it back. Let's say you have the new project, and very early on, you're going to start with something like, here's something very cool, but people don't know what you're talking about, but they do kind of like it. So whatever it looks like, it's very cool. And a little of that, and then you're going to drop in some clues. Now you're going to be a little more blatant, because now you're going to say, hey, look, we're real estate here, and we do have hip new condos. Maybe it's a hashtag that gives it away, right? But the picture is provocative, but the hashtag, says hip new condos coming soon, that type of thing. And driving only towards this URL. And that URL just says, give me your email and phone number. People will give you their email for new construction. They will. Watch. They don't do it for anything else in my experience. They do it for educational stuff. For the home buying workshops, I get them every week now. One, I'm not overblowing it, but you do start to get it. And as you run through your rollout plan that you've thought of all these different things, so you're going to be, then you're going to have some vague thing, then you're going to be dropping clues, then you're going to set a date for something. And maybe it's going to be come around to an event again, or maybe it's just going to be, you're going to run with a date, and you're going to be putting this on your posting all the time, driving people to that landing page that essentially has nothing but give us your information. And when I mean nothing, it's nothing. It's just, that's what you got. And people will do that. So you set a date. I call it date number 1 on my rollout plan, because I'm going to have a bunch of dates coming up, because they're still digging the hole over there. So you have a lot of time. But then eventually you start to be more specific. I'm going to say hip new condos, because I'm going to brand that word. I did this in DC with the hip new condos, and with a good, decent SEO. I don't want to, with an excellent SEO guy that I have. I think there's a lot of people out there that are excellent, right? So I was going to say decent, but I think there's just a lot of that out there now. But with a good SEO guy, hip new condos, if you just Google that word, bang, our brokerage was right up there. It's kind of unrelated, but we were able to push it up there, and it was fun. But you can brand something like that, and that can work for, I have a project, or that can work for, I just want to be your new construction man. And I'll mention this: I come up to Rhode Island, and I come from DC. There are 3 firms in DC that just do new construction sales: McWilliams Ballard, Urban Pace, Urban Land Company was mine, and that's about it. But they only did it seriously, institutionally. I came up here, there's no one doing it. So as I've been doing my rollout plan of 24 months for my business, so for the first 12 months, I just talked about new construction sales. Nobody, I don't say they didn't know what it is, but they didn't understand really what I was talking about, because they were just thinking, oh yeah, we have some new construction. But when you're just dedicated to that, so I kind of branded that, kind of taught the marketplace that, and now I'm launching into some of my lead generation things, another chapter. But one of the points there is it takes a little while. So over the course of a year, this group here grew to 501 people, plus another 15 this morning. Hey, I'm ready, come on. And, it just takes a little time. And the home buying workshop, I think I did it 7 weeks ago, and I do them, each Saturday and just talk about them. You start thinking of ways to try to get somebody to give you their email. And I found different grant programs that are out there when the Rhode Island Housing was, quote, out of money, which, okay, so their funding ran out and then they'll refund it. But there was another bank start in this type of environment when things get slower, banks start doing all kinds of programs because they're slower and they, have to do things. So they start doing down payment assistance programs and things like that. So I found another grant program and I was able to spread that word like, hey, Rhode Island Housing is not the only one out there. I found a new one. And, I got one gal last week to contact me back, and I have ways of collecting the information. If anyone wants to do it offline, I'm happy to go into a little more about, how I do a workshop and that sort of things to get to get some value out of it. I'm sorry, I'm just seeing how long. I know we're going to be close here. 29 minutes. So the preview list then is this going to get your messaging is going to start to be more specific, floor plans, construction project progress for your marketing throughout your roll up. Hey, they put the fence up and now my banners go up, right? But then how the construction is going gives you ammunition to try to get more emails. And just always think about, I'm just trying to get people's contact. And I'm not trying to have this event be successful. I'm trying my success. I define my success by, hey, did I get some emails? Did I get some contacts? Do I feel good going into the weekend? And then if somebody comes on Saturday because they saw the sign, A-frame I have out there, terrific. Otherwise, I feel good about that this is successful because I got a couple of emails. And how I'm doing that is, remember 2 weeks ago, we talked about a dedicated website for new construction or for different lead generation options. And I did one for down payment assistance about a year ago. And then you feed the SEO and now it's on the first page. Now it's producing emails. And that's why I started to do the workshops, because that website that we put in, with this group, literally a year ago now, is SEO is up there. And now it's producing some emails, and they're early stage buyers, but they're great for new construction. I'll end with this. New construction is the right buy for early stage buyers, because you buy a new place, you're not spending any money on it for 7 years. You buy an old place that's been renovated, year number 2, you're spending $2,000 here, $1,500 here, right here. It's still an old structure, even if it's renovated. So, and you're paying inflated costs, not of the material, everything bumped up 60%. So now a service call is now $250 instead of $150. So you get all of that cost, and then you have whatever the materials have come down, but still expensive. It's smarter to buy new because it's cheaper, I think, in the long run. At least that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So I hope this is helpful. Any questions as we wrap it up? Okay. All right, guys, I'm going to take all your picture there, right, for social media. So awesome. Thank you so much. I hope it was good for you guys. And I do appreciate your time. So we're going to keep it at 30 minutes. Feel free to call or anything like that if anybody wants more info. Bye.
Nag-under ko. Mas RPR.
Hello? Hello, hello?